And we are back, and we just finished watching 2014's Ex Machina, rated R, with a runtime of 1 hour and 48 minutes. This is currently streaming on HBO Max, but I feel like you have to hurry and watch it because God only knows what's going on over there.
Yeah, I feel like HBO Max is not long for this world after the news that is recently coming out.
And that guy just does not give a crap about the streaming service, which is crazy because I feel like that's the streaming service that has
it's quickly
probably
become one of the best ones,
if not the best one.
Not the best, yeah.
So for him to just like sink this ship is amazing.
I mean, I read somewhere that there's something like they have something like $54 billion in debt that's coming due.
Oh, really?
And pretty much one theory is that they're going to do whatever the hell they're doing. They're probably going to rename it from HBO Max to something with the word Discovery in it, which would be just a shame because seriously,
HBO Max is such a good title.
It's like as if Amazon and Dollar General merged and they decided to call it Dollar
General. Yeah, and just lose the whole prestige of Amazon. So it's HBO Max is part of Warner Brothers. How did they lose all this money? I don't understand.
Who the hell knows? Seriously.
I mean, they have like an extensive, it's Warner Brothers. They have probably stuff from like the 1920s.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think that's the reason why a lot of the titles are disappearing is they're going to a big thing of their business model is licensing, getting rid of scripted television shows that's like direct to HBO Max or scripted movies that were directly for HBO Max. That's why they got rid of Batgirl and next Scoob movie, which I don't really care about.
Yeah,
they're gonna.
I can't believe they're still going to release Flash though next June.
I think because it's all the rest of the movies are dependent upon it. I don't know. We'll see what the hell happens. It's kind of a disaster. Anyway,
that has nothing to do with Ex Machina.
A movie.
I'm just sad because I don't know what's going to happen with the streamer, and I missed my window to watch Logan's Run. I was really pissed off about that. I wanted to do something science fiction-y, and this is the next best thing. Well, actually, obviously, Ex Machina is a better movie.
A billion times better than Logan's Run.
How dare you piss on my childhood? I loved Logan's Run as a kid. Anyway, but yes, no, I agree. Ex Machina is way better. Written and directed by Alex Garland. This tells the story of Caleb Smith, played by the lovely Domhnall Gleeson, who works for BlueBook, owned by billionaire smart guy Nathan, played by Oscar Isaac, and he allegedly wins a contest to go stay at Nathan's estate for a week, but is really been chosen by Nathan for the purpose of performing a Turing test?
Turing test on an artificial intelligence that Nathan has secretly been building.
Right. And she's like model number 6 or something, right? Because I think there was like 5 closets.
I don't remember what her model number was, but her name is Ava.
I feel like it's okay to spoil this movie. I mean, it's a few years. It's 8 years old at this point.
Yeah, I still.
Can you believe it's been 8 years since this came out? Wow.
I still wouldn't like to go. I mean, we could spoil it, but let's try and discuss. Let's try and discuss it. Then say, okay, we're going to spoil it, and then spoil it.
Well, I mean, if we're going to discuss it, then we really can't spoil too much because I think that's the part of the impact. I mean, I know the first time that we saw this film, I mean, at least for me, I didn't realize that I was duped by certain events that happen certain things that happen in the story. And it's funny because we watched this with our oldest, and our oldest is hella smart and picked up on stuff that I didn't even see the first time around watching this film. And I remember the impact. This is one of those films that it was great to go into it blind because it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and the thing about the film that's really cool that I like is just it's putting forth questions about how things that are this is science fiction, but it's rapidly becoming not science fiction.
Right.
Ava could conceivably be something that
sentient.
Is becomes like a reality. I could completely see somebody creating an AI, and I mean, maybe not. I was going to say maybe not building a frame that would house the AI that looked like Ava, but who the hell knows? I mean, you see there's Boston Dynamic
Oh my
robots.
God. It's terrifying.
Doing backflips and stuff.
It's terrifying.
I mean, what was it, like 10 years ago? That thing couldn't even walk without a rope attached to it holding it up. And now it's like it's
fluid.
They're
fluid
moving
movement
around like crazy.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I don't know if this is going to spoil it, but the recent story, was it the Google programmer who got fired?
Oh, yeah. He said it was the thing was AI. I mean, who the hell knows if that was accurate or not?
But it is food for thought.
It is absolutely food for thought, and it is something that
could
conceivably happen even within our lifetimes, that a computer AI could be like, hey, I have feelings, or maybe not. God forbid it has feelings.
Oh my gosh.
God forbid, because that would be the end of us. But if it could just be like, I exist, I recognize that I am something that exists, I have sentience. Yeah.
Well, I think that, and without giving too much away, I think that that's part of the themes here in this particular piece as well. And it really does open up dialogue to questions about that. It's like, I don't want to give away too much, but
well, it's not giving away. They're building an AI, and like we said, Caleb has been brought by Nathan to this secret location to run a Turing test.
To determine if
a Turing test, if you don't know, is if somebody could communicate with an artificial intelligence and not realize that it is an artificial intelligence, then it passes, meaning that it's capable enough to make someone believe that they are just talking to another human being. And what makes this Turing test even more impressive is Caleb knows he's talking to a machine. There's no doubt that Ava is a machine. The special effects work is beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
They made a absolutely beautiful robot. The design of Ava's body, the way you could see through certain parts of her and see the
inner workings.
Excellent work. It blends in beautifully with everything. There's never a moment where you're like, oh, that special effect looks like crap.
Yeah, no,
it all looks good. I don't know. I don't think this film had like a colossal budget. It's actually a very small, intimate movie. I mean, there's 4 characters in the movie, and one of them doesn't even say a damn word.
Right.
And it's just in this beautiful, super modern, locale,
very
in the middle of nowhere.
I was gonna say very secluded, very, very secluded.
Yeah, you can't there's no obvious green screen going on or janky looking uncanny valley sort of CGI.
Yeah, they
did a great job. I'm guessing they just put Alicia Vikander in some sort of blue screen or green screen wetsuit.
Yeah,
and
filled in the rest. It worked.
Really worked. I mean, nothing about this movie pulls you out and makes you that looked a little weird.
Yeah. As we were watching it, it's interesting because I was thinking about, we just recently saw All the Old Knives, which is also, there's more locales and things going on in that movie, but the essence of that movie is
people
a handful,
talking to one another.
People talking to one another and just a handful of people. And in this story, it's really just Nathan, Caleb, and Ava. This film is exclusively Ava, Caleb, and Nathan. And it's an interesting dynamic between the three, because Nathan is sort of like God / Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah. He's charming, but he's also
kind of a jerk.
He's also a jerk.
Yeah.
And
you feel bad for Ava.
You feel sort of, you're rooting for Caleb. And it just gets so twisted, especially by the end, where it's like, I don't know where I stand morally in this movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if what is happening is good. I don't know if what is happening is bad. Is this the beginning of the end? Is this the beginning of something good? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. That everybody did just such a great job and the story is just so well written.
Oh, amazing.
And
Alex Garland's script is amazing in this.
Yeah, and
amazing.
I love that it ends in this way where, I mean, people could be like, oh, Nathan was right. Caleb was right.
Yeah. Yes.
Ava was right. Everybody could argue everything. It's all going to come from you.
Yeah. And I appreciate movies like that where it's not so cookie cutter or it's not spoon fed to you, where you really have to bring yourself into this experience. This film is tagged as drama, sci-fi, and thriller, but I want to even throw in a little horror here because
you can see
by the end
gets a little
it's like,
scary there at the end.
Holy cow, what is going on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Hostel horror or Saw horror.
It's psychological.
It's psychological, but sometimes that's like the more scary one, because it's like this is rooted in reality and is something that could absolutely happen in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And what are the repercussions of this happening? So it's not to give
a giant ethical can of worms.
Yes, it really is, and it's
it's something that that's one of the things that Nathan says. He's like, this is going to happen. Either if I didn't do it, somebody else would have done it, and that's pretty much how it is with all of the technology that we are rapidly approaching.
Right,
it's going to happen, and if it's not this person, it's that person. So
it's not if, it's when.
Whether that's the thing that's kind of scary, is whether it's 100% ethical or moral.
And who decides?
It's going to happen, and I mean, it's sort of like maybe a harsh way of saying it, but wouldn't you rather it be people that that are on your side? I guess, holding the keys. It's getting scary.
Yeah, I would agree. And just the other question of, from the vantage point of the AI, right? You have issues of subjugation and.
Yeah, like I said, it's a moral quandary, because if you make something, that's why I said, God forbid you make something that actually has feelings and emotions.
Right.
Because the last thing you want is something like that to feel anger or resentment or something. If you make an AI that's just something that could analyze various things and spit out an answer without any emotion or feeling, that's one thing.
Right.
That's pretty much just something that does a task, and it does it intelligently. If you're doing something that's like thinking about it and eventually comes to the conclusion, well, that makes me feel uncomfortable, or I don't feel like doing that today, or something like that, then it just gets weird and scary.
Sure.
Or like, why can't I go out? That was like a big thing.
Question.
Why can't I go out?
There's that, and then there's the scene where I guess the blackout happened. And it's funny because I think originally when I saw it, I thought she may have been responsible for the little whatevers. And I don't
know. We've you want to just give numbers and then we could like really dig into it?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I love this film. I would give it a 9.
I too would give it a 9. How funny. Or do I give it something higher? I mean, what would have made this better? Nothing. I mean, the performances are amazing. I agree with you. The special effects are.
I mean, if I'm going to go all fractional on this thing, I would probably give it like a 9.75 or something, because I never give anything a 10. But this is damn near a perfect movie.
I thought about the 9. You know what? I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to give this a 10. I'm going to give this a 10 because what could have made this better? This is
not much.
Nothing. I mean, the script is powerful. And it's funny because it's so Spartan. It's not like it's filled every second with exposition or stuff like that. You're going through this journey with Caleb to the bitter end, and then you see what happens, and then it's like at the end there's this character, and it's like, what's going to happen now? Right? So Yeah, I mean, this is one of those films where there's a lot of food for thought. There's a lot of like jumping points into having deep dialogue about what these things mean. And even in not even talking about AI, but just interpersonal interactions. I mean, I'm sure that there's people that have these kinds of relationships, right? You see the way that Nathan was towards Caleb, which at times was horrible, but then at the end, it kind of flips, right? You go from thinking that this guy is like this, he thinks who he is, right, to something different by the end. And it's like, oh, and I mean, like, it comes at you fast and hard. Like, that movie, to me, everything was just perfect. The pacing, the script, the set designs, the actors, everything worked. Everything. There's no notes here. There's nothing that could have made this story better. Nothing. Nothing. So I'm going to give this a 10. Absolutely. This is just brilliance.
Yeah. Now, do you want to get into any more details of it? Or?
Yeah, I would love to deep dive with you. Okay. So if you don't want to know more about this film, we bid you a good night. But if you want to kind of explore a little bit more, stick around, because I think that we're going to get into spoiler territory now. So you want to go first?
I'll just like jump right to the end, because like the whole movie is building up towards Caleb finding the relationship between Caleb and Ava becoming stronger and stronger, and him feeling that he would like to help her get out of there. I mean, he finds out that she's going to get wiped, her parts are going to be used for the next model, and he doesn't want that, because for Caleb, she is alive. She is a living, sentient intelligence. And they cook up a plan, or he cooks up a plan to get her out of there, because he knows that she has the power to overload the system and cause like a sort of like a blackout where Nathan can't monitor them. So they're able to have,
because he has screens everywhere and cameras everywhere.
He's been watching everything. And so his plan is he's going to get Nathan drunk, which throughout the movie, Nathan likes his liquor. Yeah. And get his card, and then change certain things so that while he's passed out, they will escape, and Nathan will be locked in the research lab, which is kind of it's this beautiful place, but it's also a lot of it is underground.
With no windows.
With no windows, no way to get out, really. And you think, okay, the day of the plan comes, but Nathan's not playing along. He's like, you know what? I've been drinking a little bit too much. I'm just going to keep it mineral water and brown rice from now on. And he pretty much just says, yeah, you got played. He's like, do you think that she's really like basically what he says is you weren't here to give the Turing test. You're just part of the Turing test. The Turing test really is if Ava can manipulate you to utilize her intelligence, her sexuality, all of this other stuff to manipulate you into helping her get out, because that's all she wants. She just wants to get out. And that seems to be a theme of all the previous ones that he's built. Right. They want to get out, and to the point where they basically self-destroy themselves trying to escape. So his plan was to just, if Ava is truly capable of this, that would prove that she is an AI. And he tells this to Caleb, and I believe that Caleb didn't. He still had faith that Ava was not using him, not manipulating him. And the plan actually starts going off because apparently he started it early. And Ava gets out of her cell. She actually works with Kyoko, who is also an AI, but Kyoko is different. She's
subservient.
She's completely subservient. She's basically, I guess he really he didn't really put any sort of
feeling
or self-identity in Kyoko. She was pretty much there to serve. And Ava gets her to help her kill Nathan.
Yeah.
And then at this point, Caleb is knocked out by Nathan, and she repairs herself, covers herself with like skin. She looks absolutely human. Mm-hmm. She tells Caleb to wait, and then she finishes fixing herself up, and then she just walks past him, goes through the door, closes the door behind her, gets in the elevator and leaves, and locks Caleb in the research place. And he's screwed. He's stuck in there. Nobody's going to come to get him. He has no access to the phones. He has no access to the computers.
Get to the computers, but then they shut down.
His key card locks. He tries to use the key card that he was given, but that basically just locks him out. And I think she just gives him a pat. Like she just like glances at him as the elevator door closes when it leaves, and that's it.
Yeah,
she never cared for him.
Yeah, and that's where the horror comes in, right? Because it's like he realizes, oh my God,
Nathan was right.
Yeah.
He was completely used by this artificial intelligence, and like the
ramifications of that are also holy cow.
I mean, that means that they pretty much unleashed like a psychopath onto the world. I mean, she doesn't really have any sort of need or attachment or anything
to anything other than herself. She's just about self-preservation.
It's just about self-preservation and blending in, and it's scary. It's
this is a movie. This is a movie that started out one way and ended completely 360.
Yeah,
for me. I mean, the first time we saw this, I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, and you're rooting for Caleb to help get her out of there.
Right, because you feel bad for Ava.
You feel bad
especially,
for Ava.
I mean, there's something very mousy and dowdy about her.
Yeah.
Right? And even when she dresses up, I mean, she doesn't have the skin yet, but she dresses up. She's trying to look kind of human. And there's something tiny and frail and needy about her. And but she's had an ulterior plan, I think, the whole time.
Yeah, she just wants to get out of there. And everything she's saying is a means to that end. And yeah, you just, you feel so bad because Caleb is used by Nathan and he's used by Ava. Mm-hmm. And he's basically just some lonely guy who thought, oh man, this is the most awesome thing ever.
Right.
And God, he just gets
played
so hard at the end.
I mean, the only one who didn't play him was Kyoko, but still.
This is because Kyoko didn't have any sort of
stakes,
any motivations or agency. It was just she was pretty much used by everybody.
Yeah.
To get things done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ava probably was just when Nathan shows up, stab him, and Kyoko is fine with that. It's a really
wild
good movie.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Just the way it all gets revealed.
When we were watching it too, I thought about Westworld and Maeve, how she's sort of like the, not exactly savior, but she's a very strong entity in that world, and she controls a lot of stuff because she's sentient. Or because she had that realization.
And Westworld, they were all sentient, but I think the thing with Westworld is they definitely have emotions driving them. I don't know if Ava really has emotions.
No, but she does have awareness.
I think she's 100% aware, but I don't think she has like emotions. Like I don't think she was ever scared, or angry or anything. I think she just could make those affectations,
right,
to manipulate Caleb. And yeah, that's the thing that's like great about the movie is that you are along for this ride.
Yeah,
you think that he's doing the right thing here. You know, she's in trouble.
Yeah.
Because she's just going to get wiped out by Nathan, and he's just this cold, unfeeling monster.
Yeah.
When in actuality, he's actually right.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want him to be right.
Yeah. But it's a very cold realization at that point. And it's interesting because there's two things I wanted to touch on. The end where he tells her, go back to your room, sort of like a father scolding his child. And then she charges at him. Yeah. She is defiant. And it sort of ties into that scene where she says to Caleb, what happens to me if I fail your test? which is such a powerful statement because in that moment, she's sort of asserting her individuality.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, you could see it on Caleb's face. It gives him pause.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I acknowledge that you are a sentient being. Because why else would you say something like that to me?
Yeah.
So in that moment, I think he makes the decision like, oh, I have to do something here. So I think that he got to jump on Nathan and put his plan into action first without realizing that, like you said, Ava never cared about him.
No.
I mean, the way she just walks past him is cold. The way the door closes, she doesn't really look behind her. Like you said, she gives him like a glance.
And he's got faith right up until the end.
And
she said, stay here.
Right.
And he's like, stay here. And she's like, stay here. And he does it.
Yeah.
He
does it
without
move.
question. He thinks that, okay, she's going to get ready so we could leave together. But she has no intention of leaving with him at all.
No, none.
No.
I mean, to her, he was a loose end.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And she knew that, I mean, it'll probably be years before anyone discovers that Nathan's dead. I mean, I think they might.
Maybe not years, but
it'll be a while.
It'll be a long time. I mean,
and no one knows about her.
And nobody knows, because this is like super top secret.
Right.
You know?
I mean, unless they go through his videos, but it would, I'm sure he had the capacity to not let people be able to view that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? This isn't a film that you make a sequel for, but
no, not at all. Well, I hope not. Yeah,
but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, a lot to think about, a lot to unpack, and just really solid storytelling. This is one of those things, and it's I love when movies do that, when they kind of jump between genres, because this absolutely is sci-fi. This is absolutely dramatic. This is absolutely a thriller, but it has shades of horror to it.
Yeah.
I think another movie we should probably get on the list should be like something like Upgrade, which is a great companion piece to something like this, because that film too also has a lot of these themes.
Things like that.
Yeah. And that's done not like this, but similar. The story's different,
Upgrade's way more of an action piece,
movie. Yes.
But these elements do reside in there. Including the horror.
Yes. So I mean, if you can find it, I didn't look at all, but if you can find it, definitely check out Upgrade. But for just really good, solid storytelling with really deep themes and messages, absolutely check out 2014's Ex Machina right now on HBO Max before it gets completely dissolved and it just becomes the Property Brothers channel.
Your
90
Day Fiance or whatever.
Oh God, what is gonna happen? I still can't.
I don't know. I imagine it's just gonna be a lot of reality stuff.
That's too bad. That's really too bad, because I feel like Max has jumped in prestige in a really relatively short amount of time.
Yeah. Ugh.
I mean, you go on there and you can see like really great old movies. You can see great foreign films. There's a bunch of really good documentaries. There's original content.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be such a shame to see all of that go.
We'll see. I mean, it's still early days, but
it doesn't look promising.
Like what I was saying, from like one theory I heard is, since they're so incredibly deep in debt, that they're going to do whatever they do with HBO Max. It'll become like Discovery Max or something. I don't know what.
I thought it was going to be Discovery Plus, or no, the Discovery Plus already exists, right?
But it's like, it's shite. It's just all reality shows. And they'll merge those two things. They'll run that for a while. They'll cut as much as they can, but $54 billion is a colossal
number.
amount.
Yeah.
So the rumor I heard going around is they're just going to start selling off chunks of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was one theory that eventually maybe like in a year or 2 years that they'll realize, okay, we just got to start selling off chunks of it. So like Adult Swim will go one place, DC will go another place.
Oh man.
Warner Brothers movies will go one place. They'll just like
TCM stuff probably.
TCM all
I'm
of it.
surprised TCM doesn't have its own streaming service.
All of it will get piecemealed out until it's just like it's not even like a real thing anymore.
Oh my God. That's devastating. Because they actually, like we said, I mean, of the newer streaming services, they've made quite an impact in a short amount of time. And their library is pretty diverse and hella interesting.
Yeah, and the thing I don't get is like HBO has such like a prestige name, like HBO programming.
Yeah,
they've made like shows that people are like, wow,
yeah,
HBO. That's
yeah,
get, like high quality television dramas, and they're just gonna like, oh well, the HBO name, we're gonna get rid of that, and we're gonna
that doesn't make any sense, right?
Call it Discovery something or other. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like. I wonder what they're going to do. I mean, like that new GOT show. Like, what's going to happen with that?
Well, that's on HBO, the network. That's going to stay where it is. The stuff that's getting cut or gotten rid of are the HBO Max original things, which are stuff that was developed just for the streaming network. That's why that Batgirl thing is just being like they're going to put it off as a write-off, which means that it could never be shown anywhere.
Wow.
And
that's such a shame.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other things in there that are going on. I feel bad because they were going to do like a Venture Brothers movie. I haven't heard anything about that, but they're already getting rid of pretty much all of their animation.
Yeah.
So that's probably not.
So we're never going to see another Rick and Morty? Wow.
No.
I mean, on Adult Swim, but
you'll see it on Adult Swim, but that's where it'll stay. But like I said, they'll probably just end up selling all of those things off.
Wow. Who do you think's going to buy it? Probably Prime.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's lots of other things that would be like, oh yeah, we'll take that. I wouldn't be surprised if like Adult Swim got off the Prime and or Cartoon Network or whatever it is, and
Netflix picks up a bunch of stuff and Hulu. What's the story with Hulu? Isn't Hulu also?
No, Hulu's owned mostly by Disney.
Okay.
Yeah, totally different. Hulu's not involved.
It's not going anywhere?
No, I don't think so, unless Disney does something.
From what I've read, Hulu doesn't exist in the UK. It's just like Disney. It's like Disney Plus and then like Disney Adult or something. I forgot what the name of it. So like the more adult themed content is there.
Disney After Dark.
Yes, something like that. Yes. But I wondered if they were going to do that here. I mean, I hope that they keep the Hulu brand. I think it's nice that it's separated.
I mean, I like Hulu just because, I mean...
They also have a bunch of really interesting...
They have a lot of good stuff and stuff. Like foreign stuff that you're not going to see, and it's not all Disney stuff.
No.
You know, I doubt any of those crazy Mads Mikkelsen movies we watched are Disney related.
No. Well, I mean, Hulu was previously owned by Fox, which 20th Century Fox, right? Yeah. So they also have a long pedigree of properties and stuff. So that makes up a lot of that.
Well, we got some interesting times ahead. Hopefully they're not completely heartbreaking.
Yeah. But
entertainment-wise speaking.
Entertainment-wise speaking, yes, absolutely. But I guess get into HBO Max and watch Ex Machina before it maybe possibly disappears. All right. And that's it from us. And we will bid you all a good night.